Hi, I'm Jazmin Hupp, and today we're going to be doing Yin Yoga for the hips. You're going to need a carpeted area or a yoga mat to practice on, a blanket to cover yourself with, a glass of water, and a foam yoga block or couch cushion to practice with. Let's get started. Background music is highly recommended for this practice. I've got the perfect playlist for you. It's linked in the description box below. And if you are using a playlist, go ahead and start your music now. We'll come to a cross-legged seated position, or you can sit on your heels and ankles if that feels more comfortable for you. Bringing the tips of the fingers to the earth, let's inhale the hands together and above the head. Exhale them down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Closing the eyes if that's comfortable for you. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Now pretend that you're at the edge of a river, maybe like the Bear River where we are now. We're going to take our hands and insert our hands into the river, lifting up the water, bringing it up over our heads, arcing back, and exhaling as the water comes down over us. Inhale that scooping water up to the sky. Arch back and exhale as it washes over you. Inhale. Bringing the waters up. Exhale the waters down. Inhale the waters up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Allowing the hands to relax on the knees, coming back into our regular breath. We're going to start today in child's pose with wide-legged knees. Go ahead and come up onto your heels. Spread your knees as far apart as you're able, and then come down in between. Maybe you're on your chest. Maybe you're on your elbows. Maybe you use a block to prop yourself up. Whatever works. We're in a wide-legged child's pose. Breathing deeply. As you breathe here in your child's pose, I wanted to point out a couple of things that are a bit different about Yin you may have already noticed. The first is that we're going to play with your edges today. So it's not about making the most beautiful pose or being the most flexible. It's about finding your natural edge, where your body naturally stops when you try and stretch it, and hanging out there, getting really curious, really playing with that edge. And often we find as we continue to hold these positions, these stretches, our edge moves. So that's the first principle of Yin Yoga that we'll be playing with today, is finding your edge. Where does your body naturally stop, naturally have resistance that you can work towards? We'll be here in this child's pose for just another 30 seconds, breathing. Go ahead and prop yourself up on your elbows so you can see this next move. We're going to come into a frog's pose. We'll go from child's pose to frog by just pushing our hips up above the knees. So now the hips are vertically oriented over the knees, the toes are still together, and we're leaning on our elbows or maybe coming down to our chest if we're extra flexy. The idea of frog is to have those hips high so we can get further into those hip joints. Those hip joints need these long, slow stresses to strengthen and loosen. We want to give it that time. Now, as we hang out here in frog pose, you might have noticed that perhaps your knees are a little uncomfortable. This is a great time to add some extra padding or roll the edge of your yoga mat to give yourself some extra padding under those knees. Our goal here is, again, to come to our edge, come to where we are comfortably uncomfortable, meaning we're feeling that good broad stretch, that healthy stress on the joints. We're not looking for anything that's tweaky, sharp, or extremely painful. If we hit any of those sensations, we're going to want to come out of that pose a little bit and then come back into it. We're here hanging out in frog still, and I'll share the second principle of Yin Yoga that we'll be practicing today, and that's being as still as possible. We want the body to become as still as possible because as the muscles still themselves, it gives the fascia, the tendons, the ligaments, the other structures in the body a chance to relax and be exercised. So we're going to hold these moves for 2 to 5 minutes. You want to do it in as much stillness as possible. We're here for another 30 seconds. We're going to push into our hands to come back from frog, carefully and slowly bringing those knees back together. We've got a couple options here for your rest in between. You can come back into child's pose. You can bring your feet forward and windshield wiper the knees, loosening up the hips, adding a little more lubrication. Or you can lie completely down and come down into Shavasana. We'll be here for a short rest. if you come down in Shavasana, now is the time to come back up into your seated position. We're going to start with a seated twist with the right leg on top. So you bring your left foot under you, your right leg on top with the right knee at that chest level. And slowly we're going to turn towards the right. So we can grab the right knee and press it into the chest for a bit of flexibility. If you've got a bit of flexibility, you can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee and continue twisting. And if you have the availability, twist the head towards the back. We'll be here for a few moments in this seated twist. Next, you can bring the head back to center, releasing the hands, coming back through center. We're going to move into a shoelace position. We're going to shimmy the thighs so that they're as close together as possible. We're going to stack the knees on top of each other as close as possible. If that's not working for your knees, you can add a block in between here, or maybe even add a block under your sit bone if one side is coming up off the floor. Once you've got your knees as close together as they're going to go, you can play with the positions of your feet. More flexy people are going to want to bring their feet out closer to the edge of their mat, and other folks are going to want to keep their feet closer into their hips. That's going to be up to you. Again, we're not looking for a super form here. We're looking for the most sensation in our hips. So find a position for your feet where you're feeling the stretch in your hips. Then we're going to add a little bit of bending to this as well. We're going to take the left hand out to the side and turn our hand to the back, so it's facing towards our back, and then take that left hand and place it behind the back in between the shoulder blades. We'll take our right hand, place it on the earth next to our hip, and we'll bend to the right, opening up the left side of the body. Now, if your head is looking up, now's the time to look down to your right hand. And we'll release the left hand from behind the back and we'll bring it behind the head. So, continuing to bend towards the right, looking down, breathing deeply. Next, we'll come back up to center. Keeping the legs where they're at, we're going to add some eagle arms with the left arm under. If eagle arms are not in your practice, you can just do a self-hug with the left arm under. Otherwise, we'll come up into eagle arms if it's available for us. We'll lift the elbows high like our flying wings. And if possible, we're going to start to fold forward. And maybe you lean with your elbows just on your knees. Super flexible folks will be able to come all the way to the ground. You'll find some variation that you're comfortable for about a minute in this forward fold with eagle arms or a self-hug. On our next inhale, we'll come back up, release the arms, bring the arms out in front of us, and just fold forward very simply over the knees. Maybe the head lands on a block, or we prop the shoulders up, or we prop up on our knees. On your next inhale, press into the hands to come up. We're gonna softly and slowly unwind that leg. Let it go long out to the side. And now this leg's been turned in for a while. We're actually gonna change its orientation and have it come out to what's called a half frog. Doesn't matter how close together or far apart your knees are for this one. Go ahead and adjust that depending on your flexibility. We're gonna turn towards our right leg and fold forward, coming down and eventually rounding over that right knee. If you've got a lot of resistance in your hamstrings, this is a good time to go ahead and bend that right knee. You can come down like this. You could place your arms under that knee, or you could place a prop like a couch cushion or a block there. You want to come down over the knee, stretching the back, stretching the hips. From here, press up, softly and slowly unwind that knee, and come back down into Shavasana. We have these short Savasanas in between most of the sequences in Yin. The idea is to give your body a chance to rebound, to sense what's going on inside, perhaps feel how energy or sensation may have changed in your body. That being said, if lying in Shavasana is not your favorite thing to do in between poses, you can try child's pose. You can try windshield wipering the knees to add some more lubrication to the hips. You could try putting your legs up the wall, or perhaps having your knees bent and your feet on the floor. All of those relaxing, reclining positions are available for you anytime you'd like. On your next inhales, now is the time to turn to your side and press your way up. Or you can bring your knees into your stomach and rock and roll until you come up. We're going to do the other side. All right, so now we're going to come into a seated twist with the left knee on top. So we had our right knee on top before, we want the left knee on top this time. Bringing that left knee close into the chest. We can go ahead and bring the arm around that, coming into our twist. Or if we have more flexibility, we can bring the elbow to the outside, that left knee, perhaps bringing the arm up, binding it, letting it relax down, coming into a twist. Releasing the twist, we'll come back to center. Now we're going to bring our thighs together as close as they'll come, and we're going to stack our knees on top of each other. Again, using any blankets or props that might be helpful to you. Once we found our shoelace position, we're going to bring the right arm out, face the hand to the back, and we'll bring that right hand in between the shoulder blades and let it hang out in the back. We'll bring our left arm out to the side, having it touch the earth. We're going to go ahead and lean to the left. Feeling a big stretch in the right side, and if possible, bringing the chin up to look at the sky. Now, for any reason you feel dizzy or nauseous when you turn the head, just skip that part. Breathing into this side stretch while keeping the stretch in our hips, doing double duty here. Now, if your head is tipped up to the sky, go ahead and turn the head down to your left hand. We'll bring the right hand up and over and hang out on the back of the head, continuing to twist, continuing to bend to the left. Next, we'll press back up into center, release the arms, and we'll go into eagle arms or a self-hug with the right arm on the bottom. Once we've found our eagle arms, go ahead and lift them high, and then we'll fold from the waist, coming down to rest our elbows maybe on our knees, or maybe for the super flexi on the ground. Hang out here. We're looking for the maximum effect with the minimal amount of effort. So if you can use a prop or a slight shift in your position so that you can really relax the muscles, relax the body deep into this stretch, that's our goal. Next, we'll come back to center, release the arms, and let the hands come out in front of you. And we're just going to do a simple forward fold over the legs. On your next inhale, press into the hands to come up. We're going to bring that left leg out long. Ooh, yeah. And then flip our right knee, the other orientation. Coming into our half frog position here. Again, the knees can be far apart or closer together, depending on how your hips are feeling today. We're going to turn towards the left leg and start to forward fold over, eventually rounding the spine. Again, remembering that you can place your hands under the knee to release those hamstrings and make it easier to do this forward fold. We're looking for this stretch to be affecting our hips and our low back and our thighs. If you're only feeling the hamstrings, this is a great reason to go ahead and pop up that left knee a little bit and take the stretch out of the hamstring and into the back, into the other areas of the body. On your next inhale, go ahead and press up. Softly and slowly unwind that back knee and come back down into Shavasana. While we're in Shavasana, this is a great time to think about your gratitudes for the day. I want to send my gratitude out to Bernie Clark, who created this Yin Yoga sequence in his book YinSights, and to Enid Newhouse, who is my Yin Yoga teacher at Green Yogi International. As well as thank you to Miley, who is our camera person and caterer and my cheerleader today. As you lie here, it's a great time to think about what you're grateful for. The people, elements, the magic. On your next inhale, bring the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and rock and roll on the back 5 times to come up. Once we're up, we're going to come onto our hands and knees for tabletop. And once you're on your hands and knees, we're going to bring the right foot forward in between the hands. We're coming into a right baggedy dragon. For dragon, our hands are going to be on either side of that front foot, and we're going to sneak that back knee back until we feel a nice stretch in the groin, thighs, and hips. So your hands are on either side of the front foot. Your back knee is back in space, as far back as it needs to go for you to feel this stretch in the groin. And we're going to breathe. Some folks' arms are a little longer than their legs or vice versa, so you may find that you need to come up onto fists or blocks to make this all fit in your body. That's totally great. We're going to come up into this baby dragon with one hand on each side of the foot. Depending on the length of your arm and legs, you may need to be up on your fists like I am or on a block to make this work. But we're here in this heavy, heavy stretch for the groin. You want to make sure that the back knee is stretched back in space so that you're feeling this stretch. If you're not feeling much, if you're kind of in a position like this and you're not feeling much, just go ahead and come forward until you feel it in your top of your thighs. And we'll be here for about a minute. Now we'll come into a low dragon. We'll bring both hands to the inside of the foot, maybe bringing a block with us if we'd like to. And the goal is to come down as far as we can onto the elbows or the chest into a low dragon. Now here in our low dragon, we're going to add some lion's breath. Lion's breath is when you're going to take a big inhale and then exhale as you open your eyes wide and you stick your tongue out of your mouth as far as you can. Looks like this. So while you're in your dragon, we're going to inhale and exhale lion. Inhale, exhale lion. Inhale, exhale lion. Inhale, exhale lion. Inhale, last lion. Well done. Now we'll come into winged dragon. We're going to bring the hands back by the feet, removing the block, bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot. And now we're just going to wing the right knee out to the side a few times. Rolling the foot onto the outside edge. We're going to be winging our dragon. Making sure we're supported on the hands, winging the dragon. For some folks, you may be able to get your knee very close to the floor. Other of us will hang out here in this position for about a minute. And we'll bring the foot back to the ground. Softly and slowly shift those hips back into space so we can come out of this dragon. Your choice. You can either windshield wiper the knees back and forth, or I like to personally come back down into Shavasana. Child's pose and down dog are also options. We'll meet together on all fours. Come onto your hands and knees. We'll do the other side. So we just had the right leg forward. We're going to bring the left leg forward this time. And we'll hang out in our low dragon, shifting the right knee back in space until we feel that healthy stretch in the tops of the thighs. Again, we want to find that first edge, that point where our body naturally stops and is looking for more attention, more love, more breath. So find where that is for you in space and put your hips there. We're looking for a heavy, heavy stretch in the hip, but no tearing, no tweaking, no numbing, nothing that we're going to regret later. Now we can go ahead and come into our low dragon, bringing both the hands inside of the foot. Now perhaps you come down onto your elbows if you're more flexible, or you might be fine just up here, right where you are, noticing that maybe you can't go as low on one side as the other. That's completely natural. Our bodies are symmetrical looking, but not perfectly symmetrical. Now here in our low dragon, we're gonna add those lion breaths. Those are the inhales with the big exhales. Exhaling the tongue out as far as you can and opening the eyes as wide as you can. We're doing these for additional emotional release and energetic release. So in our low dragon, we'll inhale, exhale lion. Inhale. Exhale, lion. Inhale. Exhale, lion. Inhale. Exhale, lion. Last one, inhale. Exhale, lion. Well done. Lastly, we'll get ready for our winged dragon. You're going to want to make sure that the left hand is perched inside the left foot to support you. And then we can go ahead and take that left knee out to the side, winging it open, rolling on to the outside edge of that foot. Once we find a place it can stay, we can stay here in our winged dragon. Softly and slowly, we're going to come out of this, shifting the hips back in space, allowing the knees to come back. This is a good time to take a sip of water if you haven't recently, and then we're going to come back into a comfortable Shavasana. We're not quite done yet, but we're getting close. So go ahead and get comfy. Now we're going to finish this set with a couple of twists. While you're lying on your back, bring the soles of your feet to the earth, knees pointed to the sky. Next, we're going to cross the right leg over the left leg like we're seated in a fancy chair. If it's available for you, go ahead and wrap the right toes behind your left ankle for a double wrap. You're also welcome to keep them out. Now we'll take our knees and twist them to the left. Maybe using that left hand to capture them down. The right hand's going to come out to the side, and if it's available, go ahead and twist the head to the right. Twisted root. On our next inhale, we'll come back to center, bringing the head and neck to the center, bringing the knees back to the center, placing that right foot back on the ground. Now we can do the other side. We'll take the left leg, cross it over the right. And once we've got our knees crossed and maybe our toes wrapped as well, we're going to go ahead and take those knees over to the right. The right hand is perhaps holding down the knees, and the other hand's going to come out long to the side. And if it's available to us, we're going to twist our head to the left. Again, remembering that if this makes you dizzy or nauseous, you don't have to add that last twist of the head. Breathing deeply in our twisted root. On your next inhale, bring the head back to center, bring the knees back to center, unwind the legs, and now it's time to get ready for that final Shavasana. You're going to want to cover up with a blanket, maybe drink some water, and get extremely comfortable. You're going to be here for a good while, just feeling the energy circulate in our body, noticing if anything has shifted, noticing if the speed of our thoughts has changed, perhaps. This is our intentional rest. We'll go through the body and relax each muscle intentionally, starting with the toes, sending our focus to the toes, and relaxing the toes. Sending our focus to the soles of the feet and the arches, and relaxing the feet. Noticing the ankles, relaxing the ankles. Noticing our calves and shins, and relaxing them. Coming up to the knees, saying thank you to our knees. What amazing, amazing instruments our knees are. They do so much for us. Sending some extra love to the knees as we relax them. Noticing your thighs and relaxing them. Sending your attention to your glutes and relaxing. Noticing your low belly, your sexual organs, relaxing them. Relaxing the belly, relaxing the diaphragm, relaxing the chest. Noticing if our heart feels any different than when we started. Starting with the left hand, relaxing the fingers and the wrists, relaxing the left forearm and elbow, relaxing the left upper arm and the left shoulder. Relax the right fingers. Relax the wrists, relax the forearm, relax the upper arm, and relax the right shoulder. Relaxing the neck and the collarbone, relaxing our ears, relaxing our jaws, relaxing the cheeks, relaxing the nose, relaxing the eyes, releasing the forehead, relaxing our mind, letting that water wash away any residue that might be left. Enjoy. breathing deeply, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to rotate the ankles and the wrists. Rotate them the other way. Bring the hands up over the head for a long stretch. And rub the hands together. Rub the soles of the feet together if you can. Grounding into the body, building up heat. We'll bring our knees into our chest and we'll rock and roll to come up. Now is the perfect time to meditate. If you'd like to keep practicing with me, please visit jazminhupp.com/yin. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, please leave me a comment, hit like, and subscribe. Bye for now.